The first time my basement flooded, I assumed it was a freak storm. 4 inches of standing water across my entire finished floor. My daughter's bedroom furniture soaked through. My furnace sitting in 2 inches of muddy brown water. I spent 3 days cleaning it up, filed an insurance claim, and moved on. The second time it happened, 6 weeks later, I started asking questions. And when I walked the property line behind my house and saw what Renata Caldwell had done to the drainage ditch that had been there for over 30 years, I went completely still. She had filled it in, every inch of it, graded it flat, compacted it, and poured a concrete foundation on top of it for her new guest house addition. She was on the board. She had approved her own project. And now every time it rained, my house flooded. She had the nerve to send me a violation notice for the water stains on my driveway that her project had caused. She did not know I was a licensed civil engineer with 22 years of stormwater infrastructure experience. My name is Daniel Okafor. I am a licensed professional civil engineer. I have spent my career designing stormwater management systems for municipal and residential development projects across the Mid-Atlantic. Behind my back fence, running along the shared property boundary, there was a drainage swale, a functional, engineered drainage feature that had been part of the original site plan since the development was platted in 1991. Then, about 14 months ago, I started noticing construction activity behind Renata's property. Steel framing went up. A concrete crew appeared. I went to the rear fence line. I looked at where the drainage swale should have been, and what I saw stopped me in place. The swale was gone. Every inch of it had been graded flat and built on. She had not built around the drainage swale. She had not rerouted it. She had simply filled it in and built on top of it as though it had never existed. I went inside. I made coffee. I opened my laptop. I created a folder. I labeled it Creekside Drainage, Documentation. And I began. The drainage swale appeared on the plat as a recorded easement, not just a physical feature, but a legally documented stormwater easement. It was a recorded county easement, and it had been illegally obstructed. The permit had been issued for a detached accessory structure. What the site plan did not show, what had been conspicuously omitted, was the drainage easement. I retained a licensed hydrologist to prepare a stormwater impact analysis. Her report concluded that the obstruction had redirected an estimated 40 to 60% of rear yard stormwater runoff directly toward my foundation. Then something else arrived in my mailbox. A violation notice from the Creekside Estates HOA, signed by Renata Caldwell. She had flooded my basement twice, and she had sent me a fine for the water that was now pooling because she had redirected it there. I called my attorney. I told her what I had found. I described exhibits A, B, and C. She said, "Daniel, don't pay that fine. Don't respond to it. Send me everything you have." My attorney filed a civil complaint in Montgomery County Circuit Court against Renata Caldwell individually and against the Creekside Estates HOA collectively. The county inspector walked the easement line, reviewed the survey, and issued a stop work order on the guest house addition along with a notice of violation citing the illegal obstruction of a recorded drainage easement. During discovery, something extraordinary emerged. The variance had been approved at a board meeting where only 2 members were present, Renata herself and her brother-in-law. It was procedurally void. A former board member submitted an affidavit stating she had resigned specifically because Renata had pushed through the guest house variance over her objection, citing exactly the drainage concern I was now litigating. Renata Caldwell was required to fund the complete removal of the guest house foundation and the professional restoration of the drainage swale to its original engineered specifications. The restoration cost $63,000. She paid it personally. The HOA was required to reimburse me for all documented flood damage costs not covered by insurance, totaling $11,400. and Renata Caldwell resigned from the HOA board the week the settlement was signed. The drainage swale was fully restored 4 months later. I watched the crew work from my back porch. They regraded to original design elevations and confirmed the connection to the county culvert was clear and functional. It has rained 11 times since the restoration was completed. My basement has been dry every single time. My daughter looked at me and said, "Dad, are we ever going to have to do this again?" I told her no, because the water has somewhere to go now. It always had somewhere to go. Someone just tried to take that away.